Welcome, punters, to Australia Day weekend. As always, I'm joined by Matty. How are you, Matty?
Going well, Wim. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. I don't know if I was allowed to mention Australia Day. Don't know what I'm allowed to or not. So we might be cut off the air by the end of by Friday night for mentioning it. But we'll move on quickly.
Well, mate,
Um,
I thought there might have been a chance that I won the $150 million Powerball, but I've just found out via our uh, Wim Whispers WhatsApp group that it's just jackpotted to $200 million next week. So we are going to have to show up next week.
Fuck yeah, I'm just reading it now. Well, as long as I get second division, I'll still be happy and I'll still come back next week and keep punting. That's for sure. This episode's a little bit short or different this episode, guys. Matty's just run out of time to preview, but he's going to have a lot of bets around the ground. So we'll dive a little deeper than normal and around the grounds. I'm going to preview race 7 at Caulfield tomorrow. I think the Mooney Valley card's a bit yuck to be getting involved. And this is what happens when there's wall to wall racing this time of month. Some races do fall away, but we will definitely find you winners, that's for sure. Um, so, yeah, Caulfield race 7, I'll preview. Bets around the grounds, multi, which were unsuccessful. The pineapple of the week, that was weak as piss. Probably more side of me for tipping it. So hand it over to Maddie. We haven't even spoken about that in pre-production, so now I'm actually intrigued where we're going. Hopefully, I'll maybe twist his arm and see if I can get him over the line with one of mine, but we will see. As always, if you're a first-time listener or watcher, welcome aboard. Hopefully, you enjoy the show. Hopefully, we find you a few winners on YouTube or any podcast platform that you are listening to. When we find you winners, guys, please, all we ask for you to do is head over to Spotify. Please rate our podcast. We would love to grow this podcast each and every week because everything we do is free, no paywalls whatsoever, no hidden paywalls. All we do, it is for the love of it. We just love finding winners for you each and every week. If you like what you see and you like what you hear, please join our WhatsApp group. DM one of us will put you straight through. Each and every week, we've got one or two listeners joining each and every week, and we love you guys having a board. If you don't want to join, that's fine. Just like and subscribe. That means a lot as well. Each and every week, the listeners and watchers that are joining us really appreciate your support, even if you're not part of the community. Just watching it means a hell of a lot. Questions or community questions or talking points. More talking points, Matty. This week, we spoke about Storm Boy. I was a big fan. Matty, you're still on the fence, which totally understandable. Um, I had the weird feeling that there'd be studs around the mark. I didn't think there'd be a purchase this early into a 2-year-old season, but Storm Boy to be purchased by Coolmore for $20 million for now, but
Yep.
will be up to 50 mil if it wins the Golden Slipper or when it wins the Golden Slipper. It's what I found interesting out of the news that broke. Its sire Justify is unlikely to come back to Oz for breeding. Now I can see why Coolmore have gone chips in because Justify was with Coolmore. It's going to be back overseas, wherever that may be, but I can see why they've chips in with Storm Boy. Well, if it's going to be 50 million Golden Slipper, Matty, imagine if it won a Coolmore down the straight or a Caulfield Guineas or a Cox Plate, it'd be in the hundreds of millions, I reckon.
Yeah, you think so. Look, you understand, and nothing this horse has done has indicated anything other than it's going to be an exceptional horse, and you'd imagine post career going to be exceptional as well. So, yeah, the breeding behind the horse completely justifies that.
Button the pun.
Interesting. Yep, absolutely. No pun intended. Interesting, kind of the structure that they're willing to go up to the 50 mil if it does win those group ones. So, yeah, to your point, it's good to see that a horse like this is going to be breeding in Australia, and I think it's overall good for the industry.
Yeah, 100%. Biggest thing I took out of it, that Coolmore are letting the owners staying in as well. So I think that's good on for them. I know probably 20 mils pocket change for Coolmore, but just to let them stay in, I think means a lot more. And yeah, good on the owners selling it because tomorrow could be yeah lights out for Storm Boy. Finger touch wood, it doesn't. But yeah, industry like this, anything can happen within minutes.
No, nothing else to add. I think that, as I said, overall good for the industry, and um, based on what we've seen of the horse, the figures it's put up, especially in the last race up on the Gold Coast, yeah, man, it just showed how much better it is than any other 2-year-old in this country.
Yeah, hopefully it stays right for the Golden Slipper. It'd be great to watch.
Yep.
Yeah, this week, Matty, been pretty quiet on the Twitter/X, but it's it came out middle of the week. RSN, we know, been rumored to be making cuts, will race in Victoria to make cuts. And it started this week with Matt Stewart being let go. Been in the industry a long time, especially with RSN. I know he can rub people the wrong way with his views. I was one of them. I think I wasn't a fan of him, but hopefully he's not lost in the industry because he was huge for picnic racing. But for me, RSN needs a facelift urgently, or they could be gone forever. SEN Track's gone straight past them, and they've only been in the industry 2 or 3 years, and they were doing this on year one, SEN Track. So, myself, I think there'd be a few people in .com that are a bit worried. I don't know if it's on air talent or behind the scenes that they've got to be a bit worried because Racing Vic, yeah, looking to make a few cuts to their businesses that they're in. So for me, I would love to see .com have got probably the best tipsters, excluding Gator possibly. So why aren't they using them on .com and aligning .com with RSN, making a mini alignment and just having them more on the radio and using them as this tipsters? Because yeah, a lot of people rate Ben Ascari, a lot of people rate Ben Zarafa, a lot of people think Hutchinson, um, Dave Streelaw. I think I've got that right. So they've got a wealth of knowledge and lots of winners coming through. So I'd love to them to align, jump on. I think that's the facelift they need, RSN. And yeah, yeah, it's sad to see someone lose their job who had a great half of the industry. Yeah, hopefully he's not lost Matty Stewart. But yeah, that's just my take on it. Matty, I don't think you have much more to add to that.
Not really. I agree with SEN Track. I think they just probably need to be careful of their target market, in my opinion. I think there's a few macro factors that are going to play through into the racing industry over the next 10 years that mean that they're definitely going to need to target different consumers. I don't think anyone is doing that particularly well at this stage, including
No.
SEN Track.
I think SEN Track have a mortgage on the industry at the moment, just due to the fact that they're a punting show and just keep, pumping out tips, talking to trainers about tips and that. Where RSN's more of the industry radio for participants and the news that they sort of talk about. It's only for nuffies like myself and you, Maddie, that live and breathe it. But I honestly haven't listened to RSN for 2 years now. I'm just over their content. I think it's boring. I'd like to listen to SEN Track just because they're talking horses 24/7. Um, yeah, that's just my thought. Hopefully, RSN, yeah, if they align with .com, they'll definitely get me back twice as quick.
Yeah. Well, look, honestly, personally, I think Gareth Hall is the best on air at this
Mm,
stage. I think the content and also the people he gets on his shows, he's definitely the best in the industry, and he keeps it entertaining as well. It's as I said before, though, I think they've got a bit of a watch out as well, just around the people that they're trying to attract,
mm.
because what actually gave this industry growth around about 10, 15 years ago was that 20 to 25-year-old group.
Yep.
And I don't think they're doing a very good job of attracting that demographic at this point in time.
Yeah, 100% agree, mate. Yeah, as we keep saying each and every week, interesting time ahead for the industry. Who will make a change to make it grow? But stay tuned. Oh, interesting. Yeah, if you're a long time listener, you know how much of a fan I was of the All Crap Mile. I mean, All Star Mile. My apologies. Um, Interesting.
Didn't
We
take long.
know,
Still in January.
but I am a fan of what they're doing. I am slightly changing my tune here. Wild cards were handed out in the All Star Mile, and I sort of almost fell off my chair and going, "Hang on, what wild cards are you handing out?" Till I read a bit more. Mr. Brightside, Alligator Blood, both gaining wild cards. So I think it's the Aura Futurity. It's a win in your in. If those horses won 1-2, the third place getter gets a wild card. So it's good. Magic Time, Abounding, both gaining starts and winning your ends. There's Karaka Millions this weekend. They've got a win in your in race. As we know, the new format, Matty, voting has been pretty much scrapped. Might be interesting to see what field we get with the new format. Might live up to the name All Star Mile with this format. I have confidence it will be a better field than last year. Your thoughts early, Matty, on the new format?
Yeah, all for it. All for it.
Yep.
I think there were a lot of people who were voting last year for horses that were never going to run in the race.
Yep.
But trainers needed to put those horses forward
Yep.
because there was an odd chance that they could have actually gained entry. So I think this is a much better way of doing it. And people will be able to, the horses that should be running the race, I think have a higher likelihood of running in the race this year.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing them leave one vote spot open for that
Yeah.
big, that story, but not 8 to 10 or whatever it was. No. But yeah, I wouldn't mind one vote, one voting spot for that horse above 80 odd. That story you can grow with the people outside punters, like Melba Bloodstock did with their horse Keats. They got a massive campaign going, and I thought that was good for the industry. It brought a different view. So maybe we've still got that little one vote, one selection in and stuff. But yeah, be interesting to see.
Look, I think you made a good point just around the win and the in. I think they can do a better job of actually advertising that. So pre those races, actually start advertising around the All Star Mile and making sure that everyone pre race and post race knows that that horse is going to be running in the All
Mm.
Star Mile.
Yeah, if you're a nuffy like us, Matty, you would know these horses are in. But if you're just I reckon if I ask my old man who's loves the punt and loves the horses, I don't think he could name one just because of the promoting. He wouldn't know.
No, no. I mean, there's a few races like that. It'd be interesting to see where the Melbourne Cup goes with that down the future. I know they always try and target the international horses in that sense. Caulfield Cup, what is it? Is it Mornington?
Yep.
Cranbourne, Mornington.
Mornington. Yep.
But yeah, you're winning, you're in for that. Good for the associated group that they're associated with. But I think the All Star Mile could do a better job of actually promoting themselves through those races.
Yeah, 100%. And they've cut a good marketing back, I think, from what I'm hearing. So it'll be interesting to see what they do and what they get, considering. Futures tickets. Matty, have you decided a race?
Oh, Cox Plate, isn't it?
Well played.
You'll hear about that a little bit later.
Yep.
Outside of that, I'm quite happy when we get to some of the Blue Diamond previews to run through a couple of the Blue Diamond runners. But no, outside of that, I'll put that on the to-do list.
Right. You've got 7 days or you'll be summoned to the punting gods.
All right, we'll do that.
Uh, That's how well our pre-production went, punters. We have no idea what we're doing at the moment. We're on the fly, and that's the best time because we'll tip winners, that's for sure. Futures ticket. Oh, well, yeah, me, Blue Diamond. Spoke a little bit about a few horses. Storm Boy, I pretty much said it would be unlikely for it to go. It's pretty much confirmed now it is unlikely, especially when Coolmore buying in. Coolmore weren't going to buy a horse to win the Blue Diamond, let's be honest. So, yeah, he'll be going to the Golden Slipper, so we can take him out. And markets have slowly reacted. I'm just trying to bring that up as we speak, punters. So bear with me. Storm Boy was about a $3.50 pop when last week, and just
We got the second in market. Storm Boy around about $6.
Yep.
Bold Bastille is favourite at $6.
Yep.
Bodyguard 8. Stay Focused 8. high octane 11.
Yep.
Coleman 15.
So it doesn't
King Bling
really.
15. Yeah, Shangri-La Express, Spywire, all around that 15 mark.
They haven't really reacted. I thought they'd come in a little bit, considering it had come out a $3 pop, and nothing's really moved. Which, yeah, thought that might have been a bit. Yeah, but I don't know why. What's going on there? Just trying to find something, but I can't find it. That's all right. So 7 days ago, I thought these two races would come up a bit stronger and we'd get a bit of a guide of where we were going to be, especially next Saturday, knowing, who's won and who pretty much is in as well, and knowing the markets. And they didn't come up as expected. So it's a bit weird. And I was a bit shocked. Like, I would have thought Bold Bastille might have been in there. Stay Focused, I knew wouldn't. Enza, Bodyguard. Like, where's that at? Coleman, I know he's had a
Coleman.
jump out. So
Yep.
the next horse that's running this Saturday is $11 high octane. So,
Yep.
And then you look at Shangri-La Express. That doesn't jump out too well. So yeah, it's a bit of a head. Sorry, I'm going to swear, but bit of a head fuck at the moment with where we're going to be. But funny enough, punters, I said we would have a bet 7 days ago, and I am going to live up to that. One horse, I'm going to use $5 of my 100. Going off the jump outs, and if this horse wins, I cannot see I can see this horse coming into $20 easily. Currently $70 on Betfair. You can probably get 26s on normal markets, and that is Innovisions. Two lovely trials in Sydney. Fourth in the trial was Scampy in the most recent one, who had a bit of spruik in it that back in November in a big race in Sydney and ran well. Well, Innovisions gave it Winburn in its trial most recently. So happy to use $5 of the 100 at 70s to collect 350. Yeah, if this wins, I don't see it starting anywhere near that price, of course, but yeah, I just think it's a good price to have, because anything that wins this early, you're sniping the price early and you can sit back and lay back if it comes in again. But yeah, love these jump outs, space them. You can find it on Racing New South Wales website, type in the name and it will come up. But yeah, Innovisions, Annabelle Neesham, Blake Shin on board. So yeah, he'll feature later in my Around the Ground, so we'll talk more about it. Track stats this Friday. I'm getting mixed up here. Rail True at Caulfield, and I think Rail True at Moonee Valley. So we'll start with Caulfield. Again, just going to look at for horses up on speed close to that rail. But I typed that last night, not knowing what weather we just had in Melbourne. Rain came a lot earlier and unpredicted rain. So did they hold off on the watering? We're just going to have to wait and see, because if the inside's a bit soft, they're going to come off really early and be one or two off. Lanes 3, 4, 5 down the guts at Caulfield will come into play. If they haven't watered it whatsoever and it's dry, then we should be okay. So it's definitely watch and act. Yeah, it just depends on that inside, as Matty's just having some difficulties, but he'll come back. Moonee Valley, Rail True. Yeah, be looking for horses up on speed. Weather, more drying weather for it for Saturday. And yeah, typical Moonee Valley. I'm going to preview race 7 here. The John Dillon Stakes, 1,400 metres. Bear with me, punters. I'm just typing some passwords to get up and running. Yeah, it's bear with me, punters. I'm just trying to get the odds up and trying to give Matty as much time to get back in. Might be struggling. Race 7, we're going well. All right, our favourite is Anton, $3.90. Buffalo River, $5. Yonce, $5.50. Kabling, $6. Usual Culture, $7.50. Not an option, $11. Pass Zero, $12. And Riddle Me at $21. Speed map here. Well, we got Buffalo River, and we know he only has one way, and that's to lead on a solid tempo. It'll all depend on what happens in the middle stages with this horse. Anton, I've mapped this a few lengths off the leader in second. Kabling, he will hold the rail from one and in third position. Unusual Culture should find the perfect spot in fourth. Not an option. Might be three wide, no cover. But if not an options jockey in Luke Curry riding well, he can also come across from eight and just take his time to come across and put outside Anton because there's going to be a gap between first and second. That is definitely for sure. This race, as I said, depends on Buffalo River. If Celine Gaudry, who had a great hold on this horse last prep, um, we know it's going to go hard early, but she'll try and look for just the slightest of cheap sectionals from about 1,000 to the 600 if the horse comes back to her. They're probably going to be 2 and 3 in front. I feel this horse goes better when it's about third up Buffalo River. Loved its jump out at Werribee. I can't knock it if you like the horse, but I'm happy to be with a horse called Ayrton. I might be crazy. Mick Price and Mick Kentyard, they're not my normal, and Jamie Carr. But if this horse lands second within 2 lengths, I think it'll be winning. Love this horse jump out of Cranbourne, attack the line under a hold. I feel this horse goes well first up or off a little freshen up. Last time first up, it won a listed grade race over 1,400 at October and was only 3 lengths off him and a Rupert Clark coming from near last. So only concern is where Jamie Carr lands his horse. But if she puts this second, 2 or 3 off him, 3.90, $4, I'm happy to find out at those odds. I covered Buffalo River coming off a great jump out. Yonce was good first up off an injury. Had a jump out since, went well, just worried second up, might put a flat one in. Both Unusual Culture and Kabling, both in the market due to their perfect maps in the race and must be respected. But I'm very happy to be with Anson here, number one. Matty, any thoughts?
Yeah, I can definitely see how you found Ayrton. I've got it rated as one of the top 2 horses in the race. Buffalo River is going to be really interesting to see how that goes. Celine Gaudry on board, riding exceptionally well. So from barrier number 2, expected to go forward. The one I was with last time was Kabling coming down from Sydney with Jai McNeil on board. Now, don't necessarily like gate number 1, but what I don't mind is I know the fact that Buffalo River is going to be jumping, going to the rail. Kabling's going to be sitting on its tail. And I'm fairly confident with John McNeil on board that he's going to be able to find a run for it across the 1,400 metres. So, it's not going to need it's not going to be going too wide. So I think the map for this race for Kabling works out quite well. Now, I think it's definitely a 1x3, 1x4 play for Kabling. But fairly confident I'll be seeing it in the top 3.
Nice, nice. All right. Obviously, we've got around the grounds here, so we'll probably just go through each little race at Caulfield, Matty, and just say no if you don't like the race.
Yep.
I've done all the races, so you're going to get a little insight punters, but you'll get a lot. You'll get a lot more if you're part of the community. Race 1, Matty, yes or no?
Pass for me.
Yep. I just thought the only interesting runner out of the race, got to dive a little bit deeper, which I'll do tomorrow morning. Entitled Princess. Tatum Bull on board claiming 3. This horse sat 3 wide, no cover last start and won well, I thought. Definitely got to respect the horse. Very yucky race. I was with Jenny the Beaver last start at Cranbourne. Geez, I thought it looked the winner at the stage, but absolutely gave none when the race was on, but copped a little check with 100 to go. Other than that, Pittsburgh Pirate ran against a few of them at Sandown, came off. Oh, geez, I reckon he was 20 plus lengths off the lead speed at one point. Came home nicely. Think it sits a lot closer from barrier 3. So I think if you work around Pittsburgh Pirate, Entitled Princess, and Rapinoe, Nice win at Werribee, I think it was, off the top of my head. So they're the three I think can add a bit of value for race one. Race two, Matty, any thoughts?
Yeah, mate, I'm with Frenchton's Bay here, number one. I think, again, Celine Gaudry on board. Look, from a map perspective, I think the two from out wide are potentially going to cross it, and Frenchman's Bay does like to move forward as well, but I think it's going to get a perfect sit from barrier number five, just behind She's Notorious and also the Mark Factor. I'm interested to see where Damien Lane puts Internal Flame. I think it almost goes back towards the back of the field here, Worm. So, look, no question marks about Damien Lane, but yeah, I've got Frenchman's Bay on top, around about that $4 mark at this stage.
Yeah, 100% agree with you, mate. The reason I like it though, we lose uh, Houston, who last start. It's interesting. A lot of if you go and watch its last start, a lot of people can blow up and say, "Oh, what was he doing, taking off early?" The horse was over racing, and you know what? I give the kid credit for actually using some initiative and letting it roll. 1400-meter race. Geez, he only went down by 1.5. He was 3 or 4 wide, just taking off. Letting the horse just find his spot because he was over racing. I thought the run was beautiful. Celine on board now. Everything you said, Matt, I'm not going to repeat because 100% agree with you. Probably the only danger is number 6, Verzilia. Danny O'Brien, nice run first up, gets Shin. Second up is the only concern. Race 3, Matty, any thoughts on the 2-year-olds?
Yeah, mate. Look, probably just two, and I mentioned this last week. I'll be following a couple of the Freedman horses, and the two I'm interested in within this race are Matisse, and I know there's been a lot of discussion about this horse, but I think its trial was just easy, very easy. The other one was Nine Shaft, which I have taken note that is not nominated for the Blue Diamond at this stage. And very interesting being from the Yulong camp that they haven't nominated. So interesting to see what the plan is for that horse. Again, can still nominate, so no issues there. But Matisse for me, from Barry number one, Damien Lane on board. I'm quite interested to see how that horse does run. I've probably got it on top. But again, when it comes to the first starters, can't really tip it with a whole lot of confidence.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, agree with you. You said last week the Anthony Sam Freeman, they've got to be a big watch on their 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And you were 100% spot on last week because you look at who they've booked in this race: Lane, Curry, Zara. 3 jockeys I think they trust dearly with their 3-year-olds, especially Curry, who has a massive strike rate when he's on him, especially Zara and what he did with Without a Fight. No, it's apples and oranges we're comparing there, but he's put the big boys on, and the jockeys want to be on, I reckon, as well, because they know what it can add. Um, One I mentioned last week, to be or not to be, was looking to back it. Coming out of a slow time at Caulfield in a track that day, did bounce, but what I loved with this horse was what it did through the line. Was huge. I think it wants it wants further than 1,000. The only issue that I do have, Robbie Griffiths, de Cock, I know it jumped on the bunny. Will it jump on the bunny again? I don't know. It's a what if. But you know what? I'm happy to have a 1x3 play at around $12 on it to find out, because it's not $2, it's not $3. We're getting $3 or $4 to play. So if it jumps on the bunny, we're going to be looking to collect. But if it goes back, we're not wasting too much on it. So that's race 3, number 8, to be or not to be. Race 4, Matty, any thoughts?
A lot harder than race number three for myself here. Again, quite interested to see how the Damien Lane and Friedman combination do go on a Spino. High octane. Look, I know there's been a lot of talk about that horse. I think it's, again, a good chance here, but very much unders. Blue Stratum, I think it's probably the best suited for this race. Not necessarily so for the Blue Diamond, but I think for this race, I'd be quite happy to have Blue Stratum on top. Worm?
Yeah, yep, totally understand with Blue Starter, mate. Jumped out beautifully. I was heavily on this first start. Just threw it away. But yeah, Innovision's in this race. We've had an early play at 70s for the Blue Diamond, $5. Shin on board. If it jumps to the front, I don't know how they're going to be catching it. Now the interesting part is Blue Stratum will want to lead, I reckon, and so will Innovisions. As long as they don't cut each other up, I think Innovisions can win this. I'm just that slight fear that these two might cut them up and it could really throw up a yuck result. But yeah, confident Blake Shin on board, won't shit the bed, and we'll get it done. Race 5, Matty, the listed 1,000 meters. Thoughts?
Yeah, yes. Tip here for Katsu. Really impressive last start. Has been impressive since being gelded, and most importantly, races exceptionally well fresh. So I'm quite happy to be with Katsu. No one thoughts here.
Yeah, 100% agree, mate. On the ratings I use, I've got it clearly on top. Got to dive a bit deeper. Had a jump out since, loved it. Interesting runner here, Indian Pacific with Nick Ryan. Nick Ryan's getting a lot of spruik about these new additions that he's getting used. You know, they're even saying the Nick Ryan polish now. It used to be the Kieran Maher polish or Chris Waller polish. It's now the Nick Ryan polish. So interesting. Might want to keep this one on side if playing. Other than that, I don't think anything else gets near Katsu. Race 6, Matty. I reckon this is the race of the day.
I do too, mate. And for me, there is a clear on top in Stapati. Too strong for a lot of these fresh, and really happy to take the favourite here because it does run well fresh. I think the danger is Carbon DOS. Come across from New Zealand. However, did win there on a heavy track. Came down to Geelong, impressive on a good track. I probably just want to see it run against some better horses first. So that is why I've got Stapati on top, and I think it is clearly on top. Um, yeah, Cavendos potentially cause an upset here, but I know it's well within the market, around about the $5 mark, where I'm quite happy to have Stapati.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, this is race of the day for me, and you agreed also, Matty. Like King Colorado, I cannot get near this horse. It might be absolutely cooked. Stapati will with this first up at Moonee Valley. It just needs to repeat that performance, and it's probably too good for these Brave Meads coming off B grade 3-year-old races. Yeah, agree with Carbon Danos. I butchered it. Number 4. Geez, there's a big spruik on it. You're right, Matty. I thought it would win by more, but it was probably first up, not ready to go. So second up now, light draw. 480 is a good price if you like it. The one I did find here is Centify, the Kieran Maher horse here. I thought it jumped out quite sneakily. Out the back, hit the line hard. Didn't really come into the vision till real late. Unless you were only watching for that horse, you would notice it. Barrier 1 could be sticky. Rail could be off. Blinkers go on again for this first up. Is nommed for accepted for Saturday as well. If they go to Saturday, I'm definitely going to be looking to back that. But yeah, I think it's a nice little race. The Party v Cabernados we'll go with, and let's lay the shit out of King Colorado. Race
Glad you
7.
mentioned that. Glad you mentioned that.
You're not a fan either.
I like the horse. Won't be winning on Saturday or Friday.
I don't think it'll win ever again. Let's go with
Really?
that. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I've just never been a fan of that horse, and they've talked it up, and it just hasn't shown anything to just go, yeah, I can see something. I don't know. It's just me. Tell me what everyone thinks in the community, or DM comments below if I'm completely wrong. I probably will be. But yeah, you've got to take a set against something, and I think this is the horse I'd take a set against for the rest of its career. So it probably goes unbeaten now. Race 8, Matty. Yes, no.
Jenny Jerome on top, but no.
Yeah, it's a good way to finish. It's the busted up stakes because these horses
Yep.
have absolutely found their mark. I was with Too Good for Turak first up last start. Thought he went really well. Barrier 15 is a big ass second up. Yeah, Jenny Jerome shows its best. probably. Forbidden City, I think that's flying a bit under the radar, and I think it can run a big race. Matty, any other around the grounds?
Mate, we'll head up to Sydney, Warwick Farm. Now, the community will know that our tip, and those who listened last week will know that Infinitive is running around in race number 3. So, other than the fact that I think it is a group horse running against benchmark horses here, I think you're finding a decent price as well, around about that $5.50 mark with Hell Hath No Fury. Good start, or good win last start, this Annabelle Neasham horse, but again, I think it's just going through the grades. And for me, Infinitive is definitely a level above outside of that within the race. You can make a case for a couple, but there's not too much depth to this race. So, Worm, I'm quite comfortable to be with Infinitive in race number 3 at Warwick Farm. And then on top of that, race number 6, I think it is. It is with Naval College at over the 2,400 metre mark in the listed race. Now, you're probably only going to get about $1.70 right now. If we get over $1.80, I'd definitely be taking it. There isn't many horses in this. I could almost say there isn't any horses in this race that are travelling very well at the moment. So I think Naval College, it is its race to lose, and I'll definitely be building my doubles and trebles with Naval College.
Beautiful. That does you.
That is me done. William, how about yourself?
Mate, obviously mentioned the two from Caulfield that I've came to look at, but Randwick race on Saturday. That is race 7, number 1, Tamerlane. I
Okay.
love this horse. Form back in October, running in listed grade in Melbourne over the carnival, running well. Barrier 13 now, little concern, but I think it's the best horse in the race. Form around, it's had cause of concern, just spoke, do style, all gone in one race is after the run. Their horse, hang on, what have I written here? Well, yeah, just gone well over the spring carnival. $6. I feel it's a good price, especially if you get anything above $1.80 the place, like its trial in Sydney a couple of days ago. So race 7, number 1, Tamerlane. Multi, I will throw in Tamerlane while we're there. $1.90 the place, and I'll throw in Ant in the place at $1.55. Matty, you're throwing in?
We'll throw in Stapati, the win. And we'll throw in Infinitive, the win.
Wow, we've got juicy there, punters. We've got $40 for the 4-leg multi. So, as I like to say, when that lobs will be going to Sizzler Saturday night, table for 2, me and Matty. Pineapple Matty, where are we going?
Well, we're going to keep this pineapple for Friday night. And if we get the pineapple on Friday night, I'll be going again on Saturday. Is that all right with you?
Mate, you can do whatever you want. If this lobs, you do whatever you run the show next week.
Well, we don't usually do this. We don't usually have
No,
our pineapple in the multi, but
no.
we are this week.
Okay.
Because, again, I'm keen on this horse. I've been talking it up for 2-3 weeks.
Yep.
We are going to go with Infinitive. Now, this horse, as I mentioned, this time last year ran 5th or 6th pre-OS. It was three wide in the entire race. Pre-OS, we know what it's come back and done over the spring. So quite comfortable to be with Infinitive in race number 3. I think the favourite here, Have No Fury, is well and truly unders, been a benchmark grader. So when Infinitive for me in race number 3, and as I said, we'll do some more form over the next 24 hours, and we'll be finding another pineapple for Saturday.
Beautiful. And if you're part of the community, you get to find out.
That's right.
Beautiful. Any final words, Matty, for Australia Day weekend?
Australia Day weekend. Mate, looking forward to some lamb on the barbecue tomorrow night. Yourself?
Yeah, mate. I'll be punting and punting and punting even more. Yeah, there's no
There's,
better way.
Mate, there's racing everywhere tomorrow. Down in Launceston,
Yes,
Hanging Rock.
yes. Mate, it's going to hurt by Sunday. I could go into a coma by Sunday. But yeah, nah. Happy Australia Day, punters. Hopefully you enjoy your long weekend if you get a day off. As they redo Powerball at 10:30 at night. We already know who wins loves, so I don't know why he's showing it, but good on her. No, I've got nothing else, Matty. Anything else?
No, mate.
Easy. We'll be back next week as it hots up for the big races leading up to Black Caviar Lightning Stakes Day in a couple of weeks, I reckon. But yeah, if you punt well. Gamble responsibly, more importantly, punters. And if you find plenty of winners, hopefully we find you even more. If you like the show, please like, subscribe, let us know, interact, join. I've said enough. I'm going. It's late on Thursday night. Enjoy, punters.